Welcome to your laboratory of PLSC 795, Field Design 1. This is Anna Heilman speaking. Today, we are going to be learning some few tricks in Excel. Please join me. The next thing that we are going to do is utilizing our table, and we are going to produce some visualizations. For that, please go ahead and click on after selecting your table with Ctrl A, Insert, select the tab Insert, and then go into Pivot Chart. Once you select the pivot chart, this is going to ask you we are selecting the table number 1. Where do you want to put that pivot chart? I am going to put it in the new worksheet and click OK. After doing that, you are going to see that there are different visualizations that we can make in here. Let's say if I want to have, let's say, the average for each one of those entries as a really kind of like a descriptive table. So what we can do is go ahead and put the name on the access category in here, and then please go and utilize any of the traits that we have in here. Let's say if we want to use heading date. So now you can see that we are using the sum of heading date. That's not what we really want. So click into the drop-down menu under values, and then go to the value field settings and put average. Once you are in here, you can increase the size. If you want to modify some of the stuff in here, you can go into the chart elements, and then you can start deciding what you want to bring. If you want to bring the data labels, sometimes those data labels include too many decimal points. What I would suggest you to do is go into inside the table where those numerical fields are, select them down, select all this range in here, and go to home and categorize that as a number. And this will bring the 2 decimal points. If you want 1 decimal point, then just go and reduce it. Or if you want to have it just like that, this would be a way to organize your information. And this is a way of producing a quick, easy visualization. The next thing that I would suggest you to do is go and put a name again, and then I will put in here, let's say, bar chart. One of the things that you might want to do is maybe show the values that you are graphicing in here from the highest value to the lowest value, and how can you do that? So let's go back into our pivot table in here and go and utilize the drop-down menu, click on more sorting options, and then click by the descending option in here and select the average of heading date. You can do this with other traits like yield, like a stem breakage for this particular case, and then click OK. Once you do that, you can see that your data appears in a very nice manner from the highest value to the lowest. But if we want to see something more dramatic, maybe let's do yield. So let's copy this particular table or this pivot table, and let's put it in here, down here. And instead of utilizing the heading date, why don't we go ahead and remove the average of heading date, and let's utilize the yield one. So now you can see that probably both of my visualizations have changed, and the reason why that changed is because what I copied was the visualization, but I didn't copy the pivot table. If I would have copied the pivot table, probably the output would have been different, and we are going to test that in a few minutes. But for the moment, what I want you to do is please go ahead and go back into your pivot table and then more sort options. Then click descending, and instead of by name, remember that we have the sum of yield. I don't care about the sum of yield that much. So let's go and select in the value fields for the average and click OK. Once you do that again, now let's go back and say more sort options, descending C to A from the average of yield, and click OK. And there we go. There we have our particular chart. And if those values are being a little bit annoying, remember that you can remove them out of here by getting this option. And here you can see how we can make a visualization in less than a minute. Finally, some of you might be asking yourselves, how can I make this nice presentation utilizing Excel and maybe build a dashboard? So to be able to build a dashboard, I am going to ask you to first, let's go into the data tab, and we are going to bring that data tab at the very beginning, and we are going to organize our tabs, and all those tabs need to be having names. So then we are going to have the data, the descriptive stabs, the pivot map, maybe we can put the entry list in here, and finally the bar chart. So one thing that I want you to do is please go into the data, and maybe you can insert a blank brand new sheet and put it in front of the data. And in here we can have in a welcome page. And in here I want you to go ahead and maybe utilize a really pretty picture that you have, and I am going to the insert tab in here. We are going to insert pictures. So I have some pictures from Barley already in there. Let's see if I can find something that I really like. Let's say that I would like to use this botanical picture in there. Maybe you want to make something prettier, something that has more colors. So you can go ahead and find a picture that pleases you. I found this picture from Barley, so I'm going to utilize this one. And you can decide if you can make it bigger, and you can make sure that you bring that information until maybe the row number 5. One thing that I want you to do also is to fix the first 4 rows. So for that, we are going to select the rows by going with our cursor in there and selecting the first rows, or going into the cell A5. And what you are going to do is going into data and go into, view, and then freeze panes. Once you have freeze those panes, maybe you can put a color. Go ahead into home and maybe use a neutral color if you want. This would be a good color. And then go and put your picture in there. Once you do that, let's continue with the tab insert. And in insert, we are going to insert a type of shape. I like to use my buttons or action buttons as rectangular and rounded. So you can go ahead and produce a rectangular and rounded icon in there. Then please go ahead and put a text inside. And then for this particular one, I am going to name that one the welcome. That's the welcome button. Please select your text and make sure that you go back to home and center it and make it bigger. And you can make it bold. And there we go. Now we have our first action button. The next thing that you are going to do is copy that same action button and paste them. And then we are going to start putting them organized in an organized manner. And since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs, then we are going to be renaming each one of these 6 tabs. Once you have copy and paste all your action buttons, the next thing that you want to do is go and rename them with the particular name for each one of your sheets. Alrighty, now we have changed all the names. Now you want to link the information from this action button to each one of those descriptive sheets that we have on the lower level. So to do that, please select first the icon, then right click it, and then the next option that you are going to use is link. Once you get into link, place in this document, select place in this document and select the welcome page and click OK. Let's do the next one. So the same is going to be for data. Right click it, link, placed in documents, data, okay. Descriptive stats, right-click it, link, descriptive statistics, okay. Entry list, same thing, over and over again. Finally, we are finishing LinkedIn each one of these action buttons. And what we want to do is to test them and see if they work. So the first thing that you have to do is make sure that when you hover over that there is a little hand that shows up, and just click over it. And then you can see that immediately get us over the particular sheet that we are looking for. Now, the thing is like probably we want to have for each one of these sheets the same action item, so we can go back to the welcome page or we can go to the data from there. So what I want you to do is copy the information that is in those the first 5 or 4 rows that you have in here, and then right click and copy them, and then go into the data and insert the copied cells. And then that will bring not only the colors, but it will bring also the action items, and the same do for the rest of the sheets. You might have to copy over and over the things. So go ahead, copy them, and then go to the descriptive tab, and then just insert the copied cells. Then again, do it over and over until you have finished all your presentation. Once you have finished copying and pasting all your uh, actionable buttons in each one of your sheets, please make sure that some of them haven't get, like a damage. In this case, we have one that kind of like a particularly got short. So what you can do is just make sure that you go back and then right click it, make sure that you kind of like expand that. And there we go. The same it can be done for the rest of the stuff, or you can make it smaller, is your choice. But you can see that now those action items should be working. Well, this is the pivot map, so it's going into the maps. But if I go to entry, if I go to data, if I go to bar chart, they are going to be jumping from one side to the next. Thank you for attending our class today. I hope that what I teach you today was valuable for you, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.